Holy fuck, it's dead here. I thought talking to Yaw Angle was bad.
Oh,
We were just talking to
Waterman.
y'all, Angle, when he said that.
I know, I saw he was here, so I didn't bother. And then I was looking around to see what else is going on. I came back and I'm like, should I talk to asshole Scooby or not? Should I be nice? It's hard to tell. And then I saw he's gone, and then you guys are just like empty. Empty. You're gonna need like another conspiracy to attach to. You guys have like a voting process?
For what?
So you can debate something else and more. Because debating flat Earth isn't going to be very effective.
No, what do you reckon to this, what would you call it, legal action that's going on?
I don't know who's exaggerated. I mean, I feel like jumping on the bandwagon. 2 weeks ago, Karen B jumped on and told everyone that I called Bob a shill. And it's like, no, I didn't. You know, and I tried to get Bob to talk about the truth. I've tried to get Flat Earth to talk about the truth for a long time. And it's just really weird to hear the inverted lies. Like, I'm not used to seeing flat earthers as liars. Like, I can, like, dumb shits maybe, but not like liars. They just seemed way more wholesome to me. Like earthy.
Hmm.
Anyway, I'm really upset at them.
Why?
I don't know. Well, because I made the mistake of thinking that there was a truth movement inside the flat earth movement. But they've been rejecting the truth for a long time. And I don't know what made me think like I'd fix it. You know, at first it was like, okay, we'll just get rid of IPS and everything will be okay. We'll just get rid of Robbie Davidson and everything will be okay. You know, and it was like, okay, we'll just get over COVID and everything will be okay. And it's not really like that. It's not going to be okay. I talked to a flat earther today who was insisting that there'll be like a rise again. And I don't see what they'd be rallying around.
Right.
The only fucking thing worth
I
rallying
think it's
around.
screwed, I do, because I think that the people who think they're going to wriggle out of the final experiment with, you know, the Joe Hanveys, the Shane St. Pierre, the Stephen Alonso's, their solutions to the problem are really complicated. And the whole thing with Flat Earth was, it was really simple. It got rid of the complicated stuff and had simple solutions.
That's true.
So I don't think they're going to get any of these ideas to catch on, is my thought.
Not a chance. Not a chance.
And Stephen Alonso, I don't know if you saw him on when Will Duffy had a sort of a debate with him.
No.
Oh my God. I mean, he ripped him apart. Because he's just, I mean, it's all just bullshit. It got this whole, you know, this Flat Earth University thing that he's got.
Yeah, it's almost cute.
And Will Duffy went on the website to it, and the banner that they've got to make it look like it's an actual university is some government building in Chile. And he makes all these claims about all of these qualifications he's got, and none of them were true. They were all false. Then he said he's worked in all of these teaching jobs at various universities and things. That was all false. And Will Duffy's going, well, I can't find any record of this stuff. And Stephen Alonso's going, yeah, that's right. Yeah, made it all up. I can't give away my actual information because people would be hunting me down and stuff. He made a big deal about all the death threats that they're getting and how they can't do anything publicly. It would be nice if they could, but they're a persecuted minority group and they can't do anything in public because it's all just too frightening.
So I did have something positive for Flat Earth happen. You know, Jaron did a talk with that skeptics group that was the Nat Geo crew, the blue shirt guys in the Nat Geo thing. And that fucking little prick Ross, the guy that goes, oh, that must be because of the curvature of the earth. The guy that was laying on his belly with the low camera. absolutely claimed 3 weeks ago that that the white stripe had been obstructed, and that it was just Nat Geo's editing that didn't show it, that they all saw it. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, what an idiot. I mean, they had a documentary that never showed it. And now I'm going to jam them for footage, or still, and they don't have it. So he doubled down on something that he could have just left it as, oh yeah, he could have left it in anything other than that they all saw the white stripe being obstructed, because nobody saw that. Like I said, they have their own documentary that doesn't show that. So it's just still weird that there was misrepresentation ever, if it's that easy to nail it. I don't know if I told you, the way flat earthers always say, like, we can see too far, and then they bust out the 8 inches per mile squared math, whether it's offset by, refraction or anything else. If you remember, like the Bislin model, there's all these sliders to introduce data, like weather and pressure and stuff.
Right.
And it results in refraction. But there's something else that results, particularly when you're looking across the horizon line, that I don't think is accounted for, and that would be magnification. So imagine if it was just magnified twice by all these accumulated effects. I think you'd have to double your math as well. And
yeah, but it's not magnified twice.
Then why doesn't the math work out? Genius.
What math? Why doesn't what math work out?
No, we do see too far.
Well, because of refraction, but refraction isn't anything being magnified.
Well, what I'm trying to say, yes, it is. If you look up atmospheric magnification on the horizon, or atmospheric magnification, it's definitely due to refraction. It's definitely one of the properties that comes up in writing and white papers and stuff, but we never really used it in any formula of any kind.
So Dan, I got a question that I've asked different people who have brought up magnification, and they never really answered it. If something on the horizon is being magnified, that means it's bigger than it would be otherwise, right?
Well, like when you see the moon rise, it looks big.
But that means it's bigger than it would be otherwise. So how does the whole horizon fit on the horizon if it's magnified? Because something that's 1 degree wide would be more than 1 degree. If you got 360 of those things, they take up more than 360 degrees, right?
I don't follow you.
You've got 360 degrees.
Not in my field of view.
Well, I'm not talking about your field of view. I'm talking about the whole horizon.
I can only talk about that. But okay, so 360 degrees. Okay, a circle.
You can spin around and see all 360. That's fine. You look at something 1 degree wide, or that would be 1 degree wide without magnification, and it's bigger.
1 degree wide. I mean,
and your size. It's something that's approximately the size of your pinky finger at arm's length is 1 degree.
What is 1 degree is pinky finger.
The width of your pinky at arm's length is approximately 1 degree wide for most people.
Okay.
So you're saying that something that would be that size or appear that size should appear bigger than that. We've only got 360 degrees of horizon to fit things into. So how does the whole horizon fit on the horizon if it's magnified?
Well, let's assume I'm looking through a lens caused by atmospheric conditions, right? That doesn't mean that lens is going to have the same optics throughout 360 degrees. It's going to have a focal point. It's going to have a center. It's going to have edges. My field of view is going to have edges. And the conditions I'm looking through are going to be most extreme, at the direct angle.
Direct angle to what?
Whatever I'm looking at, whatever direction I'm looking.
But things don't seem to change angular size if I look to the left of them or to the right of them or at them. So magnification can't be based off where it is in my field of view.
I don't know what that means to me.
Well, you're suggesting that this effect is strongest in the center of your field of view, right? Or did I misunderstand you?
I'm suggesting that the term magnification isn't included in any formula.
Well, I got that part, but where is the magnification? Are you saying it's in the center of your field of view, or is it everywhere?
It would be probably downstream. I've never thought about it, but I'm only looking in one direction at a time. You're suggesting I'm looking 360 degrees, but I'm only
looking. You can look in 360 degrees.
Not me. I can only look the direction I'm looking.
I never said it one time.
All right, well then, what do you want me to do? The only time I ever think in width and field of degrees is when I'm looking at a binocular that mentions the field of view and width, or when you're supposedly looking out an airplane, that you need at least 60 degrees left and right to be able to pick up anything.
Sure, but on your magnification thing, are you saying that it's only in the center of your field of view, or are you saying it's equal everywhere?
Well, I could look it up. I don't know shit about it, but I've noticed that it was missing from any slider, any result. In other words, it's not mentioned in the results, even though it is magnification on the horizon. I shouldn't use the word horizon, but you know what I mean, at the surface. I forget what they call it. Let me look it up. I'm sure I saved it.
I've seen one paper that a flat earther, I forget who it was who linked it.
It's funny.
The paper where they mentioned magnification, but they used it in a completely different way that was very strange, and they had to give their own definition for it. The definition in this paper was that atmospheric magnification is an optical phenomenon that makes the angle of something higher. It doesn't change its angular size, it makes it higher. And it was a weird definition. I don't know why they picked magnification. That's the only paper I've ever seen that says it.
Yeah, I'll upload this one paper I have because I don't have a source. Just something tells me not to trust it. And since I don't understand it, I can't really tell you if it's even in my favor or anything. But they're using the term magnification at the astronomical horizon. And what you got to remember, though, is that normally when you're talking like astronomical, you are looking through layers of atmosphere.
The what?
Where across a body of land or a body of water, 20, 30, 40 miles, you're looking through one layer of atmosphere. So I don't think the same things apply. But what I realized is that if we're ever going to use the word magnification, it might easily, in ratio, affect the math, the expectation of the view.
Hey, what's the matter, Flutter?
What are you wearing, Joby?
Well, there has to be magnification because if there wasn't, then the sun would disappear.
Okay.
I got a Gem question.
What?
Is he here? Gem, what should I make for an English breakfast?
Sausage,
Bangers and
bacon,
hash.
eggs, tomato, baked beans,
I would
fried bread, black pudding.
Now, when you say bacon, do you mean like a slice of ham that's fried up or like strips of
I mean
crispy
bacon.
bacon?
and avoid cannibalism, please.
What?
Speaking of which, I saw eating bacon made in boiling water instead of oil.
I saw that too.
Yeah, it reduces the splash and everything. That's a good idea.
I've never made bacon by myself.
You
Messy.
don't have to make bacon, you cook it.
Yeah, I wonder what cooking is. It's making it, Jim. I
No,
don't know
it
why you have to be like this
no,
all the time.
No, you make a cake, you cook bacon.
No,
make
you
a
bake a cake. You
You
bake
make
a
a
cake,
snack.
Jim.
You make a big deal over
He's
it.
American.
You-
He doesn't know. Take him a break.
I'm not American. I'm Bahamian, retard.
You're from
I
Bohemia.
thought you was
not
born in
America.
West Palm.
No, I'm from the Bahamas. Not
I thought you was
Bohemia.
from West Palm.
Bohemian.
I'm not from Czech Republic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was born there. That doesn't mean I'm from there. You're from wherever your parents came from.
Yeah, man.
That's Jamaica.
But yeah, Dan, this is the same thing as that other paper I saw. They're talking about something's angle above the apparent horizon being higher as being magnification. Which is the same thing that we always say magnification does. It lifts things above where they would be otherwise when you're close to the horizon.
But this is attributing it to refraction.
Yeah, lifting things above where they would be otherwise.
Something doesn't seem right about this, though, because it refers to it as a theorem at the bottom. And theorem, of course, is a complex word for me. Theoretically speaking.
In theory.
So yeah, there's obviously magnification. Right?
But it
But
doesn't.
it's not making things look larger. Well, in effect, this is making Earth look
Says
larger.
you.
I think it might have to affect the formula if it's something. In other words, there's got to be a reason why we're seeing further than the math. So if all you got to do is fix the math, maybe it should be adjusted in ratio to the magnification.
Where's
Yeah,
that
that's
at?
what standard refraction does for terrestrial objects. This is, like you said, celestial. So the math is a little bit different because you're looking through all of the air instead of part of it. But it's the same thing of refraction lifting things up.
Well, magnification is more than elevation.
But all this talks about is elevation angles.
It's
Or
weird that
zenith distance, same difference.
there isn't more papers on this. It's kind of weird. I don't trust this one. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I don't trust it, but I don't.
Well, it's kind of a backwards way of talking about a niche subject, at least backwards in relation to how I've always seen it referred to.
The exact relation can be derived just by using basic geometry. Either way, that's really all I got to cling to, is the media not being up and up about this. And that the refraction argument was always pathetic, really, because it was never atmospheric refraction. It's really the relationship between the surface and the air. If there's two mediums, it's the surface area against the atmosphere, against the first layer. What's the first layer of the atmosphere called?
The troposphere.
The atmosphere.
Troposphere.
So did you see I was looking up this, evidently there was like a Genghis Khan's DNA is super prevalent throughout the world, because I guess there was a lower number of people back then. And I guess a ton of people are related to Genghis Khan.
Because he basically raped every time he was in a new town. So yes, just Genghis Khan DNA in a lot of people.
So I started thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a minute, is there anyone else like that that's been that influential throughout history? And so I looked it up, and it turns out Genghis Khan's brother Dingus is possibly one of the original figures. If you look at it. Let's see if I can find the story here of Genghis Khan, who actually affected education going forward in life by dumbing everything down, kind of flat earth style. There's the story.
My whole thing is this. Like, we have a picture on Earth of something that's 450 kilometers away. Right? Like, we have that picture. So we know we can see that far through the atmosphere. So why isn't people taking pictures who are standing on the southernmost tip of England of the Eiffel Tower, which is less than fucking 450 kilometers, right? It's only like 250 kilometers, right? Or maybe 300 at the max, right? So why can't I see the Eiffel Tower standing on the southernmost tip of England if we have pictures that show something that is much further away, like the Mount Gaspard or whatever the fuck it's called picture, right? That's fucking 450 kilometers away, or 275 miles.
But the French
my
hate
English.
The French hate you.
That's why they're blocking your view.
You know what's funny about
So why can't I see the Eiffel Tower from the southern tip of England?
Every time we bomb a country, we accidentally nick the French embassy. It's funny. It's like, oh yeah, sorry, we accidentally dropped a couple of bombs on the French embassy. It's brutal.
That doesn't explain why I can't see the Eiffel Tower from the southernmost tip of England.
It's because it's the French. That's why.
Yes, we made a French joke out of it.
There you go.
We could use our tongue and really make a French joke out of it.
You know what? I can't understand jokes. I give up. That's what I'm known for.
So we're just going to joke about it and not like really address the picture that was taken from.
You're kind of a joke. So yeah.
Well, can you not address what I just said?
Because you're a joke. Because you're stuck. You kind of get stuck. Like you'll just keep repeating this now until you go to sleep.
Oh my God, is that Dan the Waterman?
Who do we got? Who do we got?
What did I do to deserve this tonight?
Oh, nothing, Bug Man. You bugged the fuck out of me.
I bugged the fuck out of you. Nice try. How have you been?
Wow.
I haven't heard from you in a while. You know, I'm in the U.S. now.
Yeah, you threatened. Don't you remember? You threatened to come to where I live. You were going to start a radio station.
I
And then you were
didn't
going to
start a
set
ra-
everyone straight.
Start a radio station? Where'd you get that?
Oh, why you fucking?
And I never ever said I would come to see you. I just
And Grandpa's
knowing where you are is
senility
enough for me.
appears.
Yeah, he does have some senility. That's all right. Hey, I was trying to be friendly, Dan. I mean, if you want to be unfriendly, I don't care.
You were trying to be friendly then, or
I
not?
was saying hello and how you doing and all that stuff.
Dan or
Shalom,
not?
everybody. It is me, Joby.
Oh, fuck off, Joby.
Shalom, bro.
Kiss my ass, Joby. You don't know what being Jewish is like.
Thank God.
You got to
Yeah,
cut your
Doc.
dick first. Then you
This
got to
one
go.
you can smell pennies on the ground.
You got to go shopping. First, cut your dick, then go shopping.
Then
Wouldn't you rather own this store rather than go shopping?
I'm telling you, I must be too
Not if I
Jewish.
use dignity for being a Jew.
I'm shopping for strawberry preserves right now, and I like keep
They have
waiting.
back problems. They're
Where's
always like,
videotape? I've got a Soviet joke I want to tell him. It was funny. It was written by the Soviets and used to be told by Soviet leaders. He'd love it.
In Russia, joke tell you.
Yet I am Russian.
I'm just hanging out for a little bit, bros.
Where's our Russians?
Joby bed.
Здравствуйте, товарищ. Как дела?
I have a Russian guy I could invite to the
Hey,
server.
Joby, cállate.
That's not Russian.
Joby, shush.
I know it's
That was
Spanish.
Mexican.
Peter,
That's Mexican.
Yeah, Joby's not
That's
going to
how I think
understand
of it,
Russian.
puto.
you don't know what I was just saying to you.
Okay?
Peter Russ.
Oh, for God's sakes. Nobody cares, Joby. Nobody really cares.
In real life.
Russian people are funny.
So I just came out of 24/7, had a really nice time telling those guys they still map of the earth. Oh God.
Well, you lasted what, 2 minutes?
No, I was there for maybe 30 minutes. He wanted to ban me. He said, and I said, do it again. You know, this because the problem with 24/7, any of the admins can ban people, but they have to get it approved from the owner of the entire server, who has all these open servers going on. And you just go and send a quick note to him, and he gets you unbanned just like that.
You know, I would go into 24/7, but I feel like I would be betraying Jim.
I only go in there when there's nothing going on here. And a while back, there was nothing going on here, so I hopped over there.
We were talking about abortion earlier.
Oh, yeah, Joby, you know what? I had a long conversation with your mother. She said her number one regret was that she forgot to go ahead and pay the bill that would have gotten her abortion.
I came out of my dad.
So the doctor said, no, you didn't come out of your dad.
Yeah, dude, I came out of my dad. I was a miracle baby.
Right. Yep.
You're not Zeus.
You're a poo baby.
Zeus came out of like a big rock monster, man.
No.
You're a
No,
poo baby.
So Dan,
Never mind. It's Greek mythology.
Dan, have you been able to react at all about what's going on down in Antarctica, or did you come in and ever bring up, what your thoughts were on that?
It's fake news.
Yeah, there isn't really been a lot of opportunity to talk about it for real amongst the
Well,
accusation.
I'll be very happy to hear what you have to say, and I promise you I won't step all over you. Just go ahead and say whatever you like about it. I'd love to hear it.
Well, it's tragic that people like myself looked for the truth movement inside Flat Earth because, that isn't there. The truth part of it isn't there.
Right? Just like I told you, it was fake news.
The fervor, the enjoyment of Flat Earth isn't there anymore either. Like it's not fun. If it's all lies, it's no fun. It was
Right,
fun.
I agree.
It was fun when we caught people being dumb. When we had good questions, we rocked. When we had answers, we don't rock. And now there's no we. And now there's no we. There's just some leftover religious dipshits.
So what would you say is the actual result of the experiment then? That's what I'm looking for. I understand what happened in the Flat Earth community, and I actually sympathize with you because I know what you're going through with this, having to deal with the zealots.
It's a little worse because there's some guilt and some embarrassment on top of the anger, with people being fucked, so it's a more than one emotion. But like for instance, Chris Pontius, who made the Flat Earth model, in other words, he's the one that animated the AE with the sun and the moon. He's devastated. If he thinks like that he misled anyone, he's ready to like return people's money. He takes it that seriously. He doesn't see it as a piece of art. At that point, he thought he was showing the way things were. So it's very embarrassing for us.
Well, they're collector's items now, so you can go that route. You can always say, hey, it's now a collector's item. I was wrong, and boom.
Not only that, I'm lucky. For me, I still got all this stuff I actually did to argue about, and I still got Flat Earth Hollywood, and I could do, are you smarter than a flat earther? And it's still amusing to watch people get triggered and to show their programming. Like the whole thing about me and Flat Earth was like, look, man, people just get programmed. We're just poorly programmed. We don't think. And of course, I thought I was part of a group of people that were thinkers, but they were also just programmed.
Have you
I'm
come to terms with anything? So what do you believe personally now? I'm asking
I don't use the word believe. I'd still question physics and the physicality of things in general. Like if I start talking about reincarnation or UFOs or ghosts, there seems to be plenty of supernatural shit.
Well, we're not asking about that. We're actually,
I am.
I understand that.
What's real? If you're talking about what's real,
I'm actually not even going to ask you what your belief is. Has the concept of having people who've witnessed a 24-hour sun changed your mind in any way as far as a flatness of the actual shape of the entire Earth?
Not as much as the actual continent, being there. In other words, they were done when they got there. The sun didn't matter. They were, like the existence of the continent and the lack of ice wall and the re-looking at the AE, understanding that the ice wall never belonged. The sun, the moon, and the ice wall don't belong on that good map.
Okay, good. Now, so one possibility, and this is, I've always been trying to figure out, how can you justify a flat Earth? And I'm looking at it from trying to set aside my, globe education. And so, all right, Antarctica is a continent. Somehow, some way, the sun is finding a way in the wintertime for us, summertime for them, to have a 24-hour sun down there. Obviously it works on a globe. You can demonstrate that on a globe with just using a model and a flashlight and all that stuff. But how would it work on a flat Earth? And the idea of projections and all that other stuff, I need to eliminate that because I'm sure that the Witsit and everybody else had to wear those dark sunglasses because that's UV light coming from a very hot light source that has a lot of UV radiation bouncing and reflecting off to the surface of the snow and everything else. Same thing you do when you're mountain climbing and so forth. So all of this.
I was surprised you get a magnifying glass to burn something at that low angle. I thought that would have failed.
No, it's concentration of light. That you can do. You can almost do it with a flashlight. A powerful enough flashlight and a magnifying glass will also generate heat on a piece of paper. So yeah, that's just concentrating the light into one small area.
If that's true, then the lens itself is a bit of a miracle.
Yep.
To be honest.
It's a great invention.
Pure accident, right? You figure? Using water?
Galileo was the first, wasn't he? He made his time. Well, he wasn't the first to grind out lenses, but he was the first to put the lenses in line to look at celestial objects. And let me think here. Who made the first lens? Let me look it up. I think it was a Dutch.
Who started making glass? What country was that?
Oh, glass has been around since the Egyptians.
For windows or for what?
No.
For jewelry. Jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry. No, I think jewelry, yeah.
I guess even stained glass was probably easier than clear glass. So even when they did use it for lighting, it was probably hard to make clear glass. You have to have
13th century Italy for the first glass lenses for magnification. But the exact date to the first glass lens is debated because it says back as early as the 7th century BCE.
I watched a 5-year-old playing speed chess with an old man the otother day.
Yeah? Who was it?
I don't know, but the kid was fully distracted the whole time and trying to eye someone else at another table.
Oh, yeah, he's looking around. Yeah, 5-year-olds are like that, and they play really well. It's like,
yeah, so what do you think? Where do you think that skill comes from? It's not just learned, is it? I mean, it seems like a musician, like a virtuoso kid there might be, I don't know where
it's pattern recognition. They get a lot of problems to solve when they're young. My kindergarten kids that I teach and so forth are all getting workbooks full of chess diagrams to study and so forth. But their minds are very quick, and that's the thing. They don't have to look very long at the board to see the whole position in a brief second.
Than math, for instance, like math doesn't have an opposition.
What do you mean opposition? I'm losing you.
Well, you're sitting across a constant variable with an opponent.
Yeah, but the position, though, for instance, spotting them 8 and 3, your opponent blunders a move, and suddenly you spot them 8 and 3. You spot that because you've seen that kind of a pattern that leads to that particular type of finish.
See, I wouldn't even know the finish of the game. I play it from the start and never get to a good enough to know the game. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, you can. In fact, I'll recommend you go to like either lightchess.org or chess.com and just go through their basic chess lessons in the beginning of the game, and they'll talk about it. And you'll learn that the most important thing that a young player and a new player should do is learn tactics first by studying puzzles of known positions. And then as you start playing against people, they're going to make mistakes that lead to positions that you'll recognize and say, "Hey, I've seen this before. I know what to do here." And then and that's really a good feeling too once you have that experience. And it's kind of like, when you're driving to work every day, you recognize all the patterns of everything of how to get to work. So that when somebody says, how do I get to such and let's say a school, you drive your kid to school every day, and now you're on the other side of town and someone says, oh, I live right next to you. Can you tell me how I take my kids to school tomorrow? You can give them that entire description without having to, open a map or anything. You know all the streets in your mind. You visualize that. Same with chess. You visualize these positions and you know exactly what moves need to be made. So what are you putting up here in your live stream here?
Oh, I'm just reading what this cunt is sending me here. Who is this cunt? This Alu cunt?
Alusha, he's just a guy who's been here for a while.
Yeah, well, I thought you fucking got rid of him.
I don't know.
He's calling me a child rapist here.
Clearly not, then.
Disgusting.
If that's in a personal message that you got from him, you complain to Discord.
Yeah.
Not really.
He's not in our chat, so
not really worth the energy.
Yeah, just ban him. Why are you even wasting your time looking at him? Put a ban on him. That way you won't get his dumb messages.
It just came in. Creep show. It's a fucking creep show. How do you guys talk to Yaw Angle for hours and hours? That's weird.
I don't talk to him for hours and hours. Not anymore. I come in, I take one look at him, and I go, "Hi, stupid. See you later."
He's thick.
He is so dense that light bends around him.
So true. Yeah, so I'm super bummed out about flying. It's fucking just awful how disinterested in the truth, my little truth movement is. So I'm really sorry that I attached the word truth.
Wait a minute. Your little troop movement? You came up with Flat Earth?
No, but I put out a lot of effort.
Okay, I'll give you that. I mean, I don't know.
I had a group. I had several groups, and there were physical things that we did. It's not just the internet thing for me. So that's one thing I really noticed now. Like when we met Mark Sargent and we went out to the Salton Sea, it magnified the idea that we were part of something.
Well, it was a social group. You guys behaved as a social group, and that was a good thing. Probably maybe one of the few good things that I would say came out of the Flat Earth movement was there was some form of social camaraderie. The problem was the blinders were on because of the extremists within the group, and anybody who came in with any kind of claims or would try to dispute any of what you guys were doing, they were thrown out as if like it was not important, and we don't want to hear about any dissent. And even within the group, if somebody dissented, that's the only thing that bothered me. It became more of a cult after a while rather than just a social group with an idea.
Yeah, somehow I thought that would get fixed. It didn't.
I mean, it's kind of like what I said about Pete Shea the other day. Pete Shea only comes in here for the personal satisfaction of the attention that he's getting and nothing else. And he'll keep saying the same lies over and over again because he knows there are people in here who will carry those lies right along, and keep it his little mantra going and keep him as important in here. The minute you completely ignore him as far as, or even justify anything that he says and just don't even bother acknowledging that he said something crazy, he just literally peters out, no pun intended.
And Dan, I feel for you. When my bubble burst, when I found out birds are real,
dude, you're a fucking weakling. Shut the fuck up.
That was really hard for me to get over.
You found out birds are real?
Are real, yes.
Oh my God, can I have some of that evidence too? Because I'm still doubting that they're real.
Oh, dude, I got bit by a toucan and was on the phone from the pet store yelling at the Flat Earth chicks that were saying that. I'm like, here's the address. It just bit me. Fucking idiots.
I got a funny story about a funny parrot story. When I was doing the LA Shakespeare Festival down at Citicorp Plaza, I had to do my entrances and exits during rehearsals for about 2 weeks next to this pet store. And they always had this parrot that was sitting out in a cage. And every time I went by the parrot, I kept saying, "Elvis is dead. Elvis is dead." And by the end of the 2-week run, I almost got him to where he would start saying Elvis and not finish the sentence. And at the end of the show, which was another, I think, 3 weeks, we ran for 3 weeks on 3 weekends in a row, he was finally saying Elvis is dead. So somebody owns a parrot here in Southern California that says, "Elvis is dead. Elvis is dead."
Well, is he dead or is he now living in Vegas doing marriages?
Doesn't matter. A parrot saying Elvis is dead's got to be classic.
It is funny. So, Dan, what do you think? Did Elvis die?
Have you ever seen the movie Bubba Hotep?
No, tell us.
It's really cool. It's about a dude who ends up in an old person's home, and he supposedly is, the Elvis that's been alive the whole time. And it's a complex movie about ghosts and stuff, but Elvis saves the day
There's,
at the end.
it's also a movie about Elvis being an alien and going back to his planet. That might be.
I have to think, like, lots of times I think about the Beatles in terms of given more studio time than artists were up until then. So their creativity almost came with just open hours in the studio. A little acid as well, but
I mean,
But
have you looked at
Elvis-
Three Dog Night? I mean, they produced a lot also.
yeah, but nothing, there's nothing as big as Elvis and the Beatles, so I'm just thinking that there's a certain amount of timing with Elvis that just might have been right. It's hard to say.
It was money. I mean, as soon as a hit song and his good looks got the studio money, then they're going to give him all the studio time he needs and make as many songs as they can, because every record he puts out is going to make some money for them. He couldn't possibly put out a bomb on. I was listening to Johnny Cash the other day, some song he sang, and I thought, God, he's awful in this song. Why would they produce it? But then I realized, Cash has put out a lot of really good songs, so he's going to have a few, groaners, but the studio will still put the song out if he wants to sing it.
Well, later on, he did like 5 records of cover tunes when he was dying. He sounded pretty rough on them. But he wanted to get him out there.
I got to sail past his house on the Tennessee River. And that was back in 1967.
There was an Elvis movie about 2 years ago. It was really good. I was shocked. I mean, it was really. I was blown away.
He must have been pretty old in order to be still acting.
I will tell you this: a lot of companies out there, a lot of content producing companies, MCA, NBC, all these people that are now making movies are making far better quality historical movies than I've ever seen in a long, long time. They are really, really accurate and doing very good in paying attention to details.
That's true, even to a point where they're finding actors who look similar to that person.
Yep.
What's that movie about the skaters? I forgot the name of it. Heath Ledger's in it.
Which skaters? Nancy Harrigan?
No. It's board skaters, skateboarding.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That one.
Winnie
That one.
the Cube?
No, it's that one. It's about the 3 boys and how they grow up. Whatever. Point is that.
Lords of Dogtown?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. No, those actors may not have been the best actors, but they look just like the people who actually did it.
Yeah, that guy that played the skateboard, man, that was legit.
Now there's more enough people trying to get into the acting field of different looks so they can pull it off. One thing I always found funny was you had Ben Kingsley playing Gandhi. What happened there?
Money?
You couldn't find a darker British person or something?
Well, no one complained. Didn't he do like?
You got cut off.
Didn't he do like a really good job? It didn't affect the film, right?
Oh no, Ben Kingsley's a good actor, but it's just weird. That's all. I'm not saying you have to get an Indian to do Gandhi. I'm not saying that, but it's more. I don't know.
Is that the same actor that's in Sexy Beast?
Having not seen Sexy Beast, I don't know.
Let's see. Yes, it is. Holy shit. Yeah, he's a great actor. Sexy Beast is a good movie to watch.
For actors who are classically trained, they can do pretty much anything.
Yeah, you know what's weird about that though? Like, at first, you learn to play roles, and then when you get big, they have you play yourself. Like Eastwood kind of plays Clint Eastwood.
Eastwood's different though, because Eastwood wasn't really that great, but you had that face look that was his thing, and that's why he got all his movies, the spaghetti westerns, I think you call them. But that's why he was so good at. Because I mean, he was only good in that one niche or character, whatever stereotype.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
What's up, tough guy? My nephew was like 11, and he comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, what's with old men?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "They got these names they call you, like champ, tough guy. Like, what's wrong with your fucking name? Why do they got to make up this shit that they call you? Hey, big guy. Hey, tough guy. Hey, champ. Bub." It was pretty good. It was pretty cute. Like, what's with old men? I don't know, dude. But they do that when they go up to kids.
And here's a silly question: people like Keith Richards, Morgan Freeman, Betty White, were they ever young? Silly question. Because this kid's.
No, I totally know what you mean. Like, once I saw the Stones and they had a center stage where they did a few songs in the middle of the football field or whatever it was, baseball field. And I knew if I went to the stage front, I'd be right underneath Keith when they came back to the front. So I went up to the front, and it was like watching the Statue of Liberty. Like to think of an icon being actually animated, because he is such an icon.
Mm-hmm.
Stones.
I saw Rammstein where I lived by accident.
I don't know their stuff.
German music.
They're kind of almost death metal-y.
Yeah, but
almost.
Yeah.
Heavy. They're heavy, right?
They're definitely heavy.
Yeah.
And who they? Well, I know of them and I read about them, but I didn't really hear their music. I was having a beer downtown, and they happened to be doing a small show somewhere, and it happened to be that bar inside that area. So I had not front view, but it's like a very good view of the stage.
Like, if this is a Rammstein show and you were anywhere in range of seeing it, you would have noticed the fire thing, right? By the way, they're industrial metal.
That's right.
Don't ask me what that is, but that's what they are.
It's crunchy.
I mean, these people like fire. For real. They use more propane in the show than their entire audience for that show would have used to cook for a month if they camped out there.
I only finally started enjoying life and going to music shows I got here. So like the Manfred Band, I finally saw them, which is very good.
Manfred Mann's Earth Band.
Yeah, that one. Of course, it's a lot of older folks by this point in a smaller town. There was Lincoln Park, but I mean, it was nice to actually see them finally. But this is before the guy suicide. But back in California, I was always busy doing something, unfortunately.
Well, life is what happens when you're busy doing other things.
So there's this dude named Scanner Guy 1968 who shoots the night sky in a full spectrum infrared and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's busy. This guy is fucking busy. It's really
Yeah, we filled it with satellites,
space garbage,
planes and shit.
But there's more. There's more than that though, too. It's like, so you have the drift of the whole sky, and then you have the planets, then you have airplanes that are generally flashing and lower. The perspective from this position is really weird, like I'm sharing now, because if it's coming towards you or away from you, it looks vertical.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to determine exactly what's going on. And there's so much movement when you look close. It isn't just like north, south, east, west. It's all angles. It's all speeds. It's all sizes. It's really surprising.
Dan, when we draw the orbit of, say, the ISS, that thing is like going up and down, right? It's like a sine curve around the Earth.
I'm looking at what I'm looking at. I don't really, up and down, whatever the fuck that means.
No, but if you look at it like on a Mercator map, it's like a sine curve, and then it comes on, and then it's a little stepped off of that, and a new sine curve, and then a new one.
Why?
Well, because it's not in an equatorial orbit.
Okay, so there's obviously a planet. I don't think that's the sun or the moon. So there's a planet in view. There's a drift of the sky, sort of like 11 o'clock to 5 o'clock is the drift, because that bright spot moves in that direction.
Yeah.
And like if I fast forward, if I jump forward, you'll see it's moved down.
Yep.
So we can tell which direction the sky is moved. And then if I jack the speed on this.
So does it even say which way he's looking? I mean, I guess that's north-ish, but if he's a North American?
I don't know if if he's always in the same spot. Here's one down low that's gaining altitude, so it's probably coming towards you and not gaining altitude. And so it's interesting. So planes down low flash because of their beacons, but flashing higher in the sky is a representation of tumbling, more likely.
No. Yeah.
So here you can see at the top middle, there's just things going in all directions right there. Not even close. Like now in the center, you see a lot of right to left. It's like, okay, so that's probably east. That's probably
Well, I'm gonna guess from seeing that thing going down like that it's sort of northish that he's looking, but
So there's a couple of directions of consistency. One would be this sort of 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock that I'm assuming might be east and west. And then there's a direct intersection to that that's probably north and south. And some other stuff comes that way, but it's just surprisingly, literally all directions. And I'm not sure what time of night this is.
No, but I mean, he's looking for like shooting stars and shit, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Just
a meteor comes in on this. Like he has a fast version of this. Like this is real time.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you because he mentions it. He goes, "This." A lot of people wanted to see it in real time.
Yeah, because they're scrolling around in it. They're probably not watching it like that.
Full spectrum. Yes, this is the one.
Because the object. That's fine. Okay, right.
It does be a thing.
That's real time. He doesn't know what that is, and he's used to seeing stuff.
Yeah. Guess satellite, but
so I'm pissed. I'm pissed because the ISS doesn't show us really Earth or space, and they recently put up a system called Piano for looking downward in infrared. And I just feel that the space programs robbed me of the local sky in the infrared spectrum, and all the old shuttle stuff shows stuff like a lot of stuff out there.
Stuff? You mean like satellites and shit that they go and put up, or what?
Just tons of stuff. I can show you. Like it's like too many different, some are ice crystals, some are the usual things, ice crystals or meteors. There was a meteor.
Meteorite. But yeah, sure.
Hang on, I have this double.
I have a question
I mean,
for Angelo.
Technically only a meteor if it makes a crater.
So here's a question for the Angelo. I think you said you're a teacher. Who is more intelligent or more interesting, your kindergarten kids or the people here?
Well, that's which people.
Use your own markers for your own measurement. Doesn't matter.
If we're talking Joby, pretty much all my first graders, no problem there. If we're talking Pete and all, and most of the flat earthers who come in here with absolutely nothing to offer, yeah, those guys would definitely be in the top of the list of being worse than my first graders. But I teach chess, and my chess students are extremely bright because I'm very selective on who I pick.
Of course, don't waste your time.
Yeah, I also want them going somewhere, because I will teach some families who are just wanting to learn want their kids to learn just for the sake of having them learn the game. But I'm not a babysitting service. Somebody signs up for chess lessons, they're signing up for the whole ball of wax.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the thing about the intelligence of flat earthers, and I mean, after just being in 24/7 there, and I was listening to these guys, there is something else driving these guys to do what they do. I'm not 100%. I've always classified flat earthers into three groups. You have the religitard flat earther. He's an extremist who will never change, regardless, because the Bible tells him, what to believe in. He may, in the back of his mind, think that the Earth's probably a globe, and maybe something's wrong with his thinking, but his belief in God will carry him through regardless, and he'll continue the argument. Then there's the conspiratard flat earther who he believes in every conspiracy out there, and flat Earth is just another conspiracy because it goes against NASA, and that's good enough for them, and that the whole moon thing was a hoax and blah, blah, blah. So he's the conspiratard flat earther. And then there's the publicitard flat earther, which is the majority of flat earthers who are extant right now on the internet, basically shilling and grifting and all that, and raising money specifically for the fact that they can get, an income off of idiots who will believe them, or at least want to hear their argument and love the way they present themselves. And so those are the three main groups of flat earthers. What their intellect level is really depends on how effective they are within their grift and their beliefs and so forth. I've seen some religious people who are extremely smart, very intelligent. You can tell just, they may not be very well educated, but from how they, form their sentences and form their arguments that they're smart. And then there's others who are script readers and just literally read the script that they've, watched through videos and so forth. The best thing that happens whenever I go into 24/7 is when they say, I've got a video for you to watch. And my answer is very simple. I don't watch videos. I've turned off YouTube years ago, and literally don't watch videos. Unless it's content that's specifically towards the field that I'm in. Like, I will watch a chess video, obviously, and I produce my own content, but I will not be watching content about flat earth or anything like that, for every reason that I can think of, which is it's a total waste of time for me. I already know what I understand the earth to be. And then I ask them, why don't you go out there and do some real science, make some real measurements and all that stuff. And that's where the stupidity comes in, because I think it's not a case of, and I use that word stupid like I always do, a person who is stupid is someone who has the intelligence to know better, but does something stupid anyway, does something completely idiotic or whatever.
Angelo, you have the flat earthers who are in it for the grift, and then there are the other ones, the vast majority, who are in it for sociological reasons.
Yeah, that's they fall into one of three categories.
Give me something to believe in, make me feel I'm special. I have some type of secret or hidden knowledge, so I'm different from everybody else. Yeah, that's the publicitard, the one who's in it for publicity. I'm sorry, I meant what did I say my three groups? Okay, I said they were the conspiratard,
religitard, publicitard.
Right.
Yeah, publicitard. The publicitard ones are all those people who want to feel special. Pete Shea's a publicitard by the biggest stretch of anything. He's not really that religious, or he wouldn't be behaving the way he does in his life. And I'm not talking about what he's doing here on the channel, but what he does in his own life that he's already demonstrated. So I know he's not very religious, and he loves the attention. And that's fine. I don't mind people who love attention. I was a stage actor, and I'm a comedian. I like the attention too. But to live off of a completely dumb idea as your way of, getting your jollies, I guess, to each their own.
Sure, but at that, for Pete's sake, at least, the man is a schizophrenic, right? He probably can't engage in a meaningful conversation where people will put up with him. He can say insane shit that's so outrageous that people will protest and mock him and do all that, and that gets him interaction.
Yeah, that's the thrill of his, getting something in return for his outrageousness. It's the only way he gets attention, because if he actually sat down and had a reasonable conversation that wasn't filled with all of his bullshit, it would bore him to death, and it would bore the people he was.
Yeah, weirdly enough, like people that don't have a life are not very interesting.
That's true.
I mean, this guy goes and plays his music and goes home and gets drunk or stoned every goddamn day. Well, it's not going to be that exciting to tell anyone about.
Where's he playing his music?
Well, Limerick downtown, apparently.
He's just busking, Angelo.
Yeah, he's busking in Limerick downtown.
Yeah, singing songs about Corona being a hoax and taking random songs and changing words to make it be about the Earth being flat, and that's about it.
Who's Zoidberg Prime?
What?
Why not Zoidberg? Who's that? Is that Zoidberg?
That's Zoidberg.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, what the fuck, Zoidberg? What the hell's going on here? Here it comes. Oh, it's a Petism. Oh, yes, you're right. It is. He does say you chest fuck. And he also does say Aristarchus. Yes, I know.
So I had this idea.
Just a second. Go ahead. What was your idea?
To take 3D printing and to make custom chess sets based on, let's say, two big families or flat earthers versus globers, but to 3D print the pieces as individuals.
That's great. All the more power to you. Just make sure they're heavily weighted. I hate pieces that are made out of cheap plastic.
So, can I tell you a chess story?
Of course.
I'm at a Grateful Dead concert. I'm in the parking lot. They're trying to clear the lot of the people that didn't have tickets. And this guy, they're telling him to pack up his shit. And he was showing me his chess stuff. And he had stones versus crystals. And he was showing me how he started off with smaller stuff and he keeps upgrading. And he goes, dude, do you want to see my queen? And I'm all, okay. And he, unwraps this big spire crystal thing, and it was probably 7, 8, 9 inches long. It was big, And he looks at me like really bright-eyed and really high on like an acid head. And he goes, one day, my queen will be my pawn.
Okay.
He just was going to make it better and better, his chess set, always. It was a work in progress. That's it.
Do I see the other Taylor in here?
That was exciting as fuck, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah,
I heard my name, but I'm heading to bed.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you then, other Taylor. I was just saying hello.
Oh, well, hello. Sorry, I'm not sticking around, but I got to crash.
As chess stories go, I mean, I definitely missed the dead, but like going to some place where people are like that.
Well, I went to Germany and went into the beer garden and played the old men for 5 marks or for 2 marks or a mark or whatever it was, it's like $5. And I've never had my ass kicked so bad. Like, it was just amazing.
Well, you can log on and play me. I'll kick your ass. Worse than them, probably.
It was stunning. It was, I mean, I can't even describe it. It'd be like me trying to maybe hit a baseball pitcher, a real pitcher, it would just, I was just fanning it. They were totally amused because I'm like, all right, I got to try this again, and there was like a little crowd of old men around watching me get my ass kicked.
Yeah, well, weirdly enough, an old guy whose entire life is hustling people in chess in a park is pretty damn good at it.
It's just that I wasn't in the league, at all.
No. I don't blame you. I would get kicked too. It's not that. It's just, well, yeah. Have you seen though when people real chess players that are actually good go in and play these people like and pretend they're amateurs?
No. All I know is I always wanted to play rugby until I realized if I had the opportunity that they would hurt me just for fun as the new guy. You know.
Yeah, and it's like not padded football. It's
It's
they
not
get
part of the sport.
years off.
It's not part of that sport to be gentlemanly at all. You know.
I mean, sort of. Between savagery.
Have you seen that Italian sport? Calcio Storicio or something like that?
No.
Oh, I'll bring it up. It's the wildest thing you've ever seen. I think that's what it's called.
Some of the good old days European sports are pretty fucking savage.
Yeah, this is some sort of like ancient regional sport. Like the villages come together and settle their differences.
Yeah.
And it's if you watch really close, there is a ball and there is a point system, but it's hard to recognize the play. Like there's the ball. So red team, there is a red team. There's a lot of refereeing and medical personnel on the field. So it's very, oh, there was a quick goal already. It's really hard to tell what's going on.
Are you streaming this or something?
I'm showing it, yeah.
Oh, right. Here we go.
Actually, this is just showing the goals. I should show the actual game because this is just highlights. It's not giving you enough depth.
It's sort of soccer, but
oh no, it's nothing of the sort. Here we go. 2024. It's nothing like soccer, that's for sure.
Soccer has
almost like a scrimmage here, and almost like a boxing match. So it's half scrum fighting, I'd call it. And it seems to me that instead of a complex play like American football, the idea is to isolate one-on-one, so you have immobilized their team. So whether you're fighting him or holding him, it seems like the only rule seems to be you don't have 2-on-1. You pick a man and it's man on man, even though it's a team sport. There seems to be a foul if you gang up on somebody.
Okay.
But I've watched it enough to recognize that part of it. There's a lot of personnel on the field that aren't players. It doesn't appear like blue against red. And there is a ball and there's a goal system and there's a half point as well as a full point. But I haven't determined why they did that.
Yep.
And for some reason, they'll walk around here and not really try and make a goal for quite some time. That should have been a foul. That guy was already engaged with someone. See, they're not trying very hard with the ball. That's the weird part.
But don't you think they're like, making the scrimmage till some team is like weak and they'll make a run for it?
Yeah, but that's not very athletic.
Yeah.
That's attrition. That's not athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, these people aren't there to outrun each other, right? I mean, there's so many people there, you could literally form a chain across the field.
But then it breaks out in a play. After about 10 minutes, suddenly somebody's running around and scoring. So it's very hard to follow. See, that's not a rough.
It does vaguely remind me of like a Celtic pre-soccer kind of thing. But, yeah. What?
It's almost like a comedy skit.
Yeah.
The idea that it's real is pretty funny.
Yeah. I mean, they're wearing like medieval pants and the judges look like, Swiss guard or something. It's weird.
Yeah, this is a pretty boring match so far. There's a lot of standing around compared to the fighting. It's like a strange contrast. Some people are fighting, and some people are just sitting around, standing around. And somewhere you go, hey, isn't there a ball? Points? Isn't that part of the game? Like the offense doesn't take a very offensive approach. Nice play. See that one?
Yeah.
Well, these guys are good. That ball handling's remarkable. Oh, this guy's running. Don't tell anyone.
Well, I think they're allowed to like all gang up on the ball guy, which is why they aren't rushing. That would be in the Celtic version.
I guess they just don't use blocking as a technique. They use fighting as a spatial technique.
Seems so. I think sort of the sitting is means you're out, and it looks like they're basically camping their prisoners there, like sitting on them or near them.
Which would establish the board, so to speak, in terms of chess terms.
More or less, yeah.
They seem to be waiting for that, as if it makes a fucking difference.
Well, if they're all allowed to rush the guy with the ball, then, the less they are, the less they can rush, right?
These guys are really fighting.
Fuck yeah. That's a proper fight right there.
More so than boxing. Now that's strange. You're already engaged with one guy. I think that's a penalty.
I don't know, because it seems like they can grapple like that, but not, it's like one guy grapples one guy and they sit like one-on-one.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you go, yeah, where's the fucking ball, right? Why don't we try and score?
But they're definitely coming for a fight with that ball guy there.
Oh, nice.
What sport are you guys watching? I can't.
It's some Italian blood sport called Calcio Storico Florentino. It's only surpassed by the Afghani sport that they play with the goat, with the live goat, the dead goat. You ever seen that one?
Yeah, it's in Rambo. I mean,
yeah,
yes, I have seen it. The real version too.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's like goat polo without the club sticks things. I mean, have you seen horse polo?
Yeah.
That shit is deadly. It's like literally rich people riding around on probably pretty hyped horses, swinging clubs around. What could possibly go wrong? Other than, death and mutilation and trampling.
Yeah, but it's really fucking croquet, horse top croquet,
Not when they play it like, I've seen it played like sort of beginner, soft, civilized, but they can play savage. Which basically is like mounted combat.
This is a comical sport I'm showing here, though. It's like it's hard to believe that it's real. The red team had scored twice, but for some reason they only got a half a point each time. Just to make it more fucked up. When they score, they don't even get a whole point.
I mean, it's probably not a sport with like leagues and shit. It's more like like the cheese hunting thing with the hill and all that, regional, seasonal thing. Because they don't look all that uniformed, sort of. Look, those are like medieval pants or Renaissance.
Forward pass and a goal. I don't know. That's not so fucking hard. Why don't they try that more?
I think because everybody's allowed to kill the ball guy.
Oh, this must be a second half or something. So there's a reset. Everyone's off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't look that difficult. They've shown it 3 times like
It probably would have been difficult with all of those, like what, 40 people on the field.
it's a cameraman's nightmare, right? You can't decide. Sometimes there's like 6 good fights going at once, and the ball's running around. And you can't get enough cameras on this.
Probably not.
That looks like maybe a timeout there. It's hard to tell what the fuck's going on.
Now, I would guess there is sort of a rule book you could look up, which might help a little bit, but yeah, I would give you that whole looks like a couple of villages just fighting it out, but because those are like
it's all about the dinner afterwards and making up grievances. This is about settling grievances.
Yeah, because those are like heraldic colors. They got like shields of some lord or something on them. Which, typically every city or area would have a lord or somebody with a shield and a heraldry. It's like Ren Fair meets Savage Brawling. Like, look at those judge people. They're wearing like fluffy medieval-y pants.
Look at the ref.
Yeah. The yellow guys are what, medics?
I think so, yeah.
Nice.
There's a lot of fucking people out there.
Yeah. I mean, this whole limited teams thing is sort of a later idea, right? I mean, as much as when we see medieval tournaments redone, it's we see the joust of the lances, but they would have battles, like literally take a little village or some shit and put in like 100 people on each side and just beat the shit out of each other as a tournament.
See, normally in a sport, it might break into a fight, but this is opposite. It's a fight that breaks into a sport.
Yeah.
Now somehow they got a full point for that goal. Why would you fight upright if the idea is to get to the ground? Like, you don't see takedowns.
Well, you do see takedowns, but it's usually some other guy that comes in and takes someone down. I would guess the point here being that the fist fighter guys that are any good at it do the fist fighting, and somebody comes in and takes him down, and that's sort of a prisoner thing because they're doing like holding. So you self them off with a good pummeling, and then somebody grabs him and holds him down. Which is why they have like some pretty chubby fellas in there. I mean, those two are pretty fit, right?
Yeah, the other matches I've seen have been much bigger, older guys. The older matches, like maybe these are the younger generation. This is 2024. But I've seen more rugby-looking guys than this. Nice. Hard to follow. Seems like the ball's in play the whole time, but they're not always playing ball. Like I said, it's like a ball game breaks out in the middle of the fight.
You know, probably as they probably don't play this all year or in seasons or anything, and it's more like one, whatever that is. You know, they aren't really that good.
No.
But
It's young village men proving that they're tough.
Yeah.
And trying to not look like a pussy, and the pussies end up on their back.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, there was those two fighting that looked sort of like they could fight, and just one fat fucker standing around in his blue outfit there looking.
Now you can sense now something's going to happen, but it doesn't seem to be related to because he's just standing there. But they were flanking to the right. They got a plan.
Yeah, but
some guy downfield. So
if
there's
we
no
go by the
offside.
whole, if we go by the theory that they are basically taking prisoners, like locking down key players, well, eventually they would, you know, have locked down enough that they can move.
There's like a magistrate here on the right, the green pants. He's different. There's a few of those guys. There's 4 of those guys.
It did start out with like 4 or 5 in the black and red, with flags and shit.
They must be calling offsides at some point. Or I don't know.
Well,
They're
I think they're calling like brutal slaughter. Because they are checking up on like the holds and all that. Like some of it seems like, are you holding him too viciously? There's some of these holds, they're just sitting there. Some of them, they seem to be sort of struggling. Like that guy button of the image, like with its sub off. He's just sitting on someone, like, and that other guy's just laying there. Well, higher up in the image, there's somebody's definitely, yeah, they're definitely holding, right?
It just seems like it's not that difficult when they try and score. You don't see failed scoring attempts. That's the strange part.
Have you seen the New Zealand thing, I believe it is? Like Maori tradition? Oh, it looks like basically blunted spears and shit. People die from that.
No, I haven't seen that. Is it like jousting?
It's more like a battle.
See, I'm a proponent for, I want to add a defensive aspect to golfing, where there's somebody down there on the green trying to prevent you from scoring. Trying to jazz up golf. Like your two caddies should be down there on the green while you're trying to play golf.
No. Well, you could have like an archer shooting arrows over, like when you yell "4" when you're playing over someone.
Yeah.
There's a barrage of arrows,
Prevent
just to get you moving. That'll
That's
do.
like Fuck it, use a shotgun. I mean, if you can take it out of the sky, why not? You know?
Yeah, for shooting the ball. Oh, I was thinking like mid-shot, like they yell "arrow," and you have to dodge or hope they won't hit you.
Before you tee off.
Hmm.
Like you yell 4,
Yeah,
and you go, and that's when they can launch their arrows.
exactly.
Golf is just a little too civilized.
I can always lose my temper if you need me to.
But you do it in a civilized way.
Never a problem. I'm a bit hungry.
That's just it, though. Golfers are like super aggressive if you go out on a training ground, right? Well, at least they used to be when I was a kid. There was this golf course which was like a big park, and you could, obviously walk the park, had like animals and shit. Whenever you encountered the golfers, they would be like, they seemed like they definitely didn't like any form of an audience or motion of anyone or talking, and definitely no getting near their courts. But there's like square miles of fucking green fields. How much of that are you really using?
So the Irish are pretty proud, but I've never hear the Scottish manufacturer make anything interesting. Never heard of anything being made in Wales or anything being done in Wales. Wales must be tiny.
Action speaks louder than words.
Well, arguably, a Scot invented television.
In golf.
And golf. So are the Freemasons, when did the Scots have power? Like, I don't get that lineage, the Masons, the Scottish.
Shall I get something to eat? Or shall I go back to bed?
The goal is as wide as the entire pitch in this game.
bag is not supposed to get tackled, usually.
All that atmosphere to deal with. It's in direct sight. It's right there. And the fact of the matter is that the low observer and the high observer, meaning the 1 foot guy and the 5 foot guy, should see different things on a globe. And then, of course, when it moves away, it should drop. And it did nothing of the sort. Nothing of the sort. So I don't know what you think is uncontrolled about
You know, cruise liner sure as hell dropped, and we have some pretty big cruise liners sailing around here. And they tend to drop all the time.
You're talking about an area where it's obstructed in general.
So what's obstructed in general?
The noise line at the surface.
The noise line, the ether band.
No,
Yeah,
it's not that.
I'm talking about literally. I mean, my country has the most.
You're talking in circles. I said, hey, we shouldn't talk about something far away because of all the issues far away. I'm talking about something directly in front of you, and you're going back to far away. That's a circular conversation.
No, you inserted far away. I said ships drop all the time. I did not say far away. Like you put that in.
Except when we stand there and demonstrate that it doesn't.
So you stand there with a little flag and then some lines that are what 3 feet, all of them together, and I stand there with a big ass ship, which is definitely a whole shit ton more than 3 feet.
I'm not arguing with you. You're disregarding math. Fuck off.
I'm not disregarding math.
Yes, trust me. Fuck off. Yes, your argument's bullshit right now. It is.
No, it's not.
Okay, then what is the expectation at 1, 2, and 3 miles? And did they achieve that? And can you replicate that?
Sure,
because going off 7, 8, 9, and 10 miles makes it pretty muddy and fucked up.
10 miles, like a boat is going to be gone at 10 miles.
Well, it's generally at 7 and 8 from a 15 or 18 foot observer that you're talking about when you see your ferries and cruise ships disappear. Doesn't happen until 7 or 8 miles.
Oh, it does. Like the bottom of them starts disappearing a good while before that.
Well, it doesn't. Fucking show it, dude. It's bullshit talking to people who talk. You know, fucking show it. I fucking know what I'm fucking talking about.
Jesus, goddamn. Now I know why I don't like you. Yeah. All that yelling. Come on, I got headphones on. Don't yell.
I'm tired of people.
Dan, just don't yell. Just don't yell. Yeah, just don't yell when you do it, okay?
Thanks. Sorry. Of course, there would be an example of what he's saying, and he would bring it up. And of course, I'm talking about a very clear example of it not happening that Larry's, who's always going quiet now, is trying to talk. Doesn't make a lot of sense. The math should make sense. The observation should match the mathematics of the globe.
That does make sense, Dan. That's your assertion. It does make sense. Sure, you can find a little disturbance to it from like hot air or some shit, but it does make sense.
Yeah, you don't have any from what you're talking.
Yes, I do.
Okay, then what is the expectation from the 1 foot observer or the 5 foot observer? Come on, dude. Come on, bust out your math, dude. Then show it somewhere.
When have you ever shown any math?
No, hang on. On one hand, bust out the math. On the other hand, bust out the example. In the meantime, fuck off. In the meantime, fuck off.
So the expectation is exactly the same as you going around the corner. Eventually, the stuff that gets up higher or in front of you will block the view of you, which is how that works. That's the expectation, Dan.
It's just a flap jaw right now. Bust out the math. Bust out
That is the math. Like, that is literally the math. That shit's in front of it. You can't see it. That's the math. All of it.
Good night. Have fun in your silence. Thanks, Ange. Sorry.
That was, well, I guess par for the course.
So I understand he thinks that in those environments, the math should be absolutely clear. Oh, with the 1 in 3 miles, it's like, but the 1 foot observer, the 5 foot observer, and in bright sun and over Salton Sea, yeah, it's still a crapshoot. So we said, what's your expectation? He goes, I don't have one, not for that environment.
Yeah, with a tiny little flag. I mean, what the hell?
Regardless, it doesn't even. It's like, let's look at the black swan. Okay, he's got several pictures with the legs cut off, and one picture that's goofy. And other people have come up with the goofy ones, like right around sunset when refraction is the most crazy. And it's like, okay, let's just go with geodetic survey. Why not? It's like, at 28 miles, I can't miss a 400-foot drop in a radio tower. That's all there is to it. Not to mention it's backed up with 25 miles, 24 miles, 21, 20, 19, 15, 14, 12, 10, 5, 7, 2, 1. Yeah, I get a perfect, such a perfect relationship without using the sun, without using the stars, without looking over a body of water, looking for, from valley to ridge. It says under, a given window, midday, spring through fall, not winter, not night. Fortunately, it's so figured out. I don't know. It is so well understood. Refraction is not some wild bullwhip of unknown until you get into that 1 foot observer at the beach. I don't give a fuck if it's 100 yards or 2.5 miles or 5 miles. Jesse Path of Light. He did an excellent job. People completely blow that off. He has a very still 6 kilometer long lake, and he put 3 lights at uniform height above the water. Or 2 lights, one at the far, one at the middle, and his instrument at the third. And the one in the middle was a little bit higher. There you go. We're done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that water level thing they did, what was it, quarter mile water level thing with the other light? That would do.
Yeah, it's well over a quarter mile, but yeah, it's not a full mile.
Yeah, half or something.
Yeah, it's a good enough distance because they picked up that, like an inch or something in the middle. But even that's tough because still they're over an asphalt road, but it was an overcast day. So, okay, yeah, it's like there's just way too many good ones.
Yeah, I mean,
So I don't know if Dan is really talking about the shape of the Earth or not, because that's an atmospheric. Yeah, okay, that's crazy. That's crazy town. Yeah, well, let's just talk about the sun going around Union Glacier.
Yeah, but he's talking about the great injustice done to him by evil people in front of him.
The national his Nat Geo battle flag.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. It's grave injustice done to Dan.
And Dan, Dan is questioning, what causes the sunset, and why does the sun, get cut in half just before night happens?
Yeah, which is exactly the math I wanted. Like when you go around the corner, you eventually disappear from behind the corner. That's how that works.
Yeah.